走上来，那坐点呢？坐点上。网上的道友们听得清楚哈 ？Can you hear clear?
Can you hear right now? Is it okay?
应该可以啊，可以了哈。那我们今天呢继续讲中观根本慧论中观根本慧论呢，我们现在是在讲第一品。在讲第一品的时候呢，主要是讲的是诸法不自生，亦不从他生，不共不无因，是故知无生就是主要是在讲这个四生所以呢，我们在上几堂课里面呢，我们讲了主要就是自生的部分，我们用中观就是这个的三因驳斥了这个外道数能外道的见解就是一切法是自生的这个见解那今天呢，我们就是开始讲这个他生以及共生无因生这个部分。他生然后共生，自他共生和无因生。
So today we continue on the teaching on the root stanzas of the middle way, and currently we are on chapter 1, and we are talking on this chapter 1. We're actually on the verses that is said that not from itself and not from something else, not from both and not without a cause, does anything, whatever, anywhere, at any time arise. So this is the right now we're talking about from the previous classes we have talked about the topic, such as the topic of whether phenomena are self-arising or not. And by using the three methods of reasoning of the Madhyamaka, we use the reasoning to dispel the Trika views or the non-Buddhist views that all things arise by itself. So today, now we'll be talking about how other things, how they arise, as well as how things arise together, or how things arise without any cause. As these are the views that we are going to dispel through the Madhyamaka teaching.
那我们为什么要驳斥这些四生呢？因为我们这里最终的目标或者是最终的目的我们是要了解这个空性是到底怎么样一回事情。那我们要了解空性是怎么样一回事情的话呢，我们不能说一切都是空性，就这样就解决了，没有那么简单。那我们要从就是我们所执着的这些一切法或者是万事万物，这些是我们怎么样对他们产生执着的从这里然后呢，就是一个一个的去驳斥我们的这些执着，其实都是一个假象不是真实的所以呢，有这样的方式呢，我们去抉择的时候，去驳斥的时候，最后我们才会了解到原来我们所执着的一切法，我们以为有的这些东西其实都是不存在的。然后我们的眼耳鼻舌身所看到的、听到的、闻到的这是你要碰触到的这些东西，其实在真实它们是不存在的，这些都是一切都是空的所以我们才这样慢慢的抉择到这些一切。所以在这些抉择到的一切的时候呢，我们首先要知道万事万物的产生这些万事万物的产生，有了产生我们才会有看到这些东西。那所以我们不能说是看到的这个东西直接就去驳斥它，我们就说首先在这里就是第一个，它没有产生过。这里在驳斥的主要就是没有产生过。如果这些万事万物要产生这些的话，它必须用四生来产生，就是自生或者是他生或者是共生或者是无因生。 除了这4个之外没有办法产生，所以我们第一个就是抉择这个。
所以判之王的
不是自身，而是他生。对，就是这个4生嘛，五阴，共生，对，共同生。
Here, why do we need to dispel what we refer as the 4 arises? The ultimate objective here is to really understand what emptiness is about. To understand, in order to really understand emptiness, we cannot just merely make a statement, oh, all things are empty. It has to be really, we have to really come to a point where we truly have understanding how things are in the emptiness in nature. So thereby, we have to start by find all the things that we are attached to, the phenomenons, and to really, in order to dispel our attachment to these phenomena by perceiving they are real. So it's really through these dispelling of our attachment or what we perceive, then we can understand that the phenomenons are illusion, they are not real. To the final point that we have come to realize that all the things we are attached to are not existing at all, as well as the things that we perceive with our senses, they do not inherently exist as well. All of them are empty in nature. So in order to achieve that, first we need to understand how we perceive things, how phenomena arise. Phenomena arise by how we see things. So in order to thereby, we need to first dispel how we perceive things arise. So the things that we have to dispel is first we have to understand how things arise. So the things that we're going to dispel is how we perceive phenomena arise. And the way phenomena arise is through the 4 methods. Either they are self-appear, they appear in others, they appear together, or they appear out of no causes.
那这里这4种的生，我们上面就是已经讲过了啊。比如说是自生是谁的见解呢？是外道的速伦派的见解。这个上次我们已经有讲过了很多，今天这里就不重复了。那今天呢，我们开中观的那个印证派，中观就是驳斥的是他生。像他生的话是什么呢？他生就是我们内道的，内道也就是佛教徒。佛教里面，比如说是唯识宗然后呢就是经部然后就有部这些小乘的这些见解，他们就说他自身是没有错，是不存在，但是呢他生是存在的。如果是没有他生的话我们这个万事万物就没有办法产生了所以呢他们就认为说他生是存在的，所以呢他们是承认他生。那在这里呢就是中观来驳斥他生的这个理论。
So here, regarding these 4 arises, these 4 methods of how phenomenon arise, if it is the view of that things arise by itself independently is the view of the Trikas or the non-Buddhists. And just as we have discussed before in the previous class sessions, these has been dispelled or been nullified by the Madhyamaka reasoning. And now today will be the view that we're gonna dispel is the view of the arising of others. So, and that belongs to the kind of the Buddha, the path, certain school of the Buddhism, in which such as the Yogacara, Santratika, and the school of Hinayana view. The Hinayana schools believe that yes, the self-arise does not exist, but arising through other does exist so here the Madhyamika teaching, in particular, the Prasankika school, would now attempt to dispel that through their following reasoning.
那这里他们说 为什么有他生呢？因为他们承认因果说了因跟果是他性的，说因是一个东西，然后果是一个实质性的，说因和果是他性的，就他性的意思就是说就是两个不一样的东西，所以两者，所以呢就是因那个果是从因而生出来的，所以呢他说是有他生所以他们就是承认他生这样。
果是从因生，
对。
So here, why to say that these the Hinayana school their point of view their view is that the arising through others exists there because they believe that the cause and effect are others, that such that they are different entities, such that the cause and effect they are two separate entities, and that the effect comes from the cause. So thus they are two different entities.
在这里中观驳斥说没有他生的最主要的一个这个推理这个理论是什么呢？他说他性是不能生他性的，如果是他性生他性的话，那应该就是火焰也应该能升起黑暗，黑暗里面也应该升起火焰，因为两个都有他性的方面是一样的这是他们主要的这个驳斥的理论。
So here, the Madhyamaka school viewpoint dispels that, and is that such that there is no arise through others, and that the main point for this reason is that the arising of others cannot have other things arise. So here, the example is that just like fire itself cannot have arise in darkness, nor darkness itself cannot arise fire, because if so, then they're both considered as arising through others.
但是呢，这是不可能的，火焰永远也不可能生出黑暗黑暗也永远不可能生出黑暗那个火焰所以呢，就是他性可以他性可以生他性的话，这个就完全没有办法成立，因为火焰跟这个黑暗的他性一样的，都是两个不一样的东西然后呢，他们说的因跟果也是一样的，两个不一样的东西，两者不一样的东西可以产生两者的话，就是一切可以产生一切，一切可以产生一切，也就是说，因为它是他性的方面是完全一样的，都是他性的，所以如果是他性的话，一切可以产生一切，桌子可以产生凳子，那个水壶可以产生桌子等等，就是一切可以产生一切所以呢，这个就是不符合真正的逻辑推理，所以这个就是中观驳斥他们的他性现在是这样。
So here, this is something that's impossible because we know that fire itself can never arise in darkness, nor darkness itself can never arise fire. So to the viewpoint here that things arise through others, that doesn't apply because all these things, as long as, even though they're two different things, to say that all the phenomena can arise of other phenomena does not apply. It's not true, and that this really applies to everything, such as that. We know it's impossible that the table will arise chair because if this viewpoint is true, then everything, all the phenomena can arise of other phenomena, such as table can arise chairs, and the glass can have water glasses can arise water. So we know that that's not true. So thereby, this is how the Madhyamaka viewpoint dispels that.
那这个时候呢，那就是这个唯识宗的这些论师们，或者是经部的论师们，他们就说不一样他性里面呢有两种他性，一种是像火焰跟这个黑暗一样的他性，是完全没办法互相产生的一个他性，还有一种他性呢像因跟果一样的产生，所以他说因跟果是我们就是有一个 不一样的力量、不一样的能力在这个果因里面，所以它可以产生这个果。所以虽然是他性，但是他性里面有2种就是他们的答复是这样。
Then at this time, in the school, the master of the Yogacara school or the Hinayana school, they would say, oh, what we refer as the arising through other, there's actually 2 different types, such as of course, the type where the fire and darkness, they cannot arise. That does not work. But then, however, the other type in which the arising through other in terms of the cause and an effect, they have to consider different type of elements or forces, thus they can arise through other. So this is what they claim. So now they claim that there's different types of what we're referring to arising through others.
那这样的时候呢，中观的论师们问到，你怎么样来证明说这2个他性的不一样？那这个韦世宗他们就说，因为我们亲眼看到，因为我们的亲眼看到黑暗里面永远没有产生过这个光明，然后呢，但是呢，那个因里面就是产生种子里面产生这个道种里面呢产生道芽，这是我们眼睛看得到的，所以它是用眼睛限量看得到的来证明说这2个因果的存在是他性的存在。黑暗里面从来没有产生过光明，光明里面也从来没有产生过黑暗，这是我们从来没有看过的。但是呢，从因道种产生道果，这是我们限量见到过的。
And then the Madhyamaka school master would say, then how do you prove the difference of these different type of where you say rising through others? The Yogacara school masters say, oh yes, so it really differentiates by whether or not we're able to perceive it personally, whether we're able to see it or not. So there's one type that we just know that the darkness will never arise light, nor light will never arise darkness. That's something that we never seen before. So that's one type. However, there's the other type, such that we can see that the crops grow from the seed as we plant them. So this is something that we have seen before. So thereby, this type of arising to others does work. It does work. So this is just their viewpoint.
那这样的时候呢，中观就是反问。我们在抉择圣义谛的时候，你的眼根是什么？你的眼识是什么？因为我们要讨论一件事情的时候，这个是一个必须双方共同认同的一个东西。因为现在根本连眼根、眼识都没有成立的时候，你用这个来证明另外那个的存在是没有办法建立起来的。所以中观就是反问说你是用什么来建立？他说用眼根，所以这个没有办法成立。所以这里说就是因此呢，我们用中观映衬派的3种因里面，这就是能力等同所力来反对驳斥他们的观点。
就是说他们的能力的是一样。
对，能力等同所力。
他的始终跟理由是。
对，
就不成立。
对，不成立，没办法成立。
And then thus the Madhyamaka master will then ask again, if we're coming from the level of absolute truth, then where does you say you exist because you're able to see in you're able to perceive it personally with your eyes? Then if we look at the absolute truth level, where is your eye? Can you prove that your eye exists? Because this is something that we need to, when we are engaged in discussion, this kind of discussion, this kind of viewpoint has to be accepted by both sides. So, or both comes from when you present a point, that the whole point needs to be valid. So, because if you say that this is something does exist because you perceive it with your eyes, then you need to prove that what you see, your eyes, they do exist. However, in the absolute truth, in the sense of absolute truth on the level, there's no even eyes, and there's no eye or sensory or vision. There's nothing. There is no what we perceive as eyes or what we see in the absolute truth level. So thereby, from this, then we can see that the point has been dispelled by the Madhyamaka school, because this simply doesn't work. Such as this is the reasoning in which the school that you or statement you make and the reasoning, they are the same. That so by doing so, this is the reasoning in which that scene will be invalid, because the statement as well as the reasoning, they are the same. They are so thereby there's really no proving point.
那在这个时候呢，对方又拿出说，道种生道芽，这是因果规律，这是缘起，因果的这个缘起的规律。那缘起呢，是释迦牟尼佛亲自讲的这个缘起的所以这样的话，如果你说这个不能生的话，那就应该连缘起的规律就完全没有这个缘起的规律了。所以呢，他说应该这个是这个因为有缘起，所以呢，这个里不应该有就是能破和所破。所以如果是有了能破跟所破，就意思就是说不应该有可以破斥这个缘起的。如果是有破斥这个缘起的话，那等于就是说你这里根本没有这个缘起的规则，意思是这样。
And then the Hinayana school or the Yogacara school then says that, well, how crops grow from the seed, this is a dependent origination, just as taught by the Buddha. So if you dispel this, then there's really then there is no then you're dispelling the dependent origination, such that if it's something that can be dispelled or something that can be then something that be nullified, then you're also nullifying the dependent of origination.
那在这里呢就是中观又驳斥说，如果是缘起的规律，则第一不应该有能破，第二应该有能力。然后呢，你们认为这是缘起规律，这样的例中有什么理由？他们根本拿不出来理由。没有理由的话，只能就说你这个就没有办法站立你自己的理由了。这叫做能力等所力不成因就是中观的另外一个因，这样来驳斥他们的。他拿不出来别的原因，他只是说这个是因为是缘起，所以就不能够破。
所以如果是缘起必须要
他说是因为这个是缘起，所以不能破，不能。如果是你能破的话，这个就是不是缘起的规则的。对，这样。那这样让他拿出理由的话，他拿不出来理由。就是对方没有一个正式的理由说这个缘起是为什么不能破，为什么缘起可以建立等等的。
So then the Madhyamaka master would say, if you claim this is dependent origination, then there should be other reasoning to state that why your point is valid. Since you have no other reasoning except that you say this is dependent origination, then your point would not stand. So thus this point has been nullified as well.
但是呢，这些的细节的话，我们以后还会讲到。这里暂时就是怎么样破的啦，就是破他生，就是暂时我们就说，如果是他性胜他性的话，一切生一切的过失，以及黑暗生光明的过失就是这两个这个过失就是这个是重点。然后还有的细节的部分的话，以后我们在第一品后面也好，第二品、第三品里面很多细分来慢慢的驳斥这些观点。
So here, this is like a brief, elaboration of the brief content of the points that we try to dispel. So or try to establish, such that right now the main focus to really dispel the point that things arise through others, because as things arise through others by themselves, then they will have the fault, such there will be a kind of the downfalls, such as the darkness will arise lights, etc. And thus there will be more details regarding these points in the future chapters, how through the actual reasoning, how these viewpoints can be dispelled.
所以呢，这个中观根本慧论的这个整个论点呢，就是一开始它是非常简略的讲了一遍，然后呢把这个再分开的再驳斥一下， 再分开的驳斥是这样的一个论点，它的整个过程是这样的。所以那这一项呢就是驳斥了这个他生的这个观点。然后接下来呢驳斥就是共生。那共生的话，自生跟他生共生，这个就很简单。它如果是自生也没有办法成立，他生也没有办法成立的话，共生也就完全没有办法成立了，它就有自身的过失跟他生的过失都存在了，所以这个就不是用另外的这个推理来驳斥他们，它已经存在了两种过失，所以就是共生就这样。
So the root stance of the middle way is it first dispels these attachment or these kind of like the views that we perceive things arise from a very broad sense at first, and then as it comes later on, it'll be dispelling these points through detail. And now that we have from this day we have dispelled the point or the viewpoint which things arise to others, and now onto the point in which things arise together. And this is fairly simple, because if things cannot arise through itself nor through others, then there's no way things can arise together, because the point in which things arise together contains the faults or downfall of both the two arises that we just mentioned.
然后呢，就是第四个就是无因生这个的话就也是个外道的观点，这是完全没有办法成立的有一个外道的话，他们的说法就是一切法都是无因而生的。他们怎么说呢？无因生好像就是这个石头，他们就说，他们举了很多例子，在这里没有，他们在其他的经典里面举很多的例子，他们就说在那个海里的石头没有任何人去磨，但是它是圆圆的，他说这个是无因而产生的然后呢他说是山上的水往下流，这也是无因而产生的，然后火自然是就是烫的，就是这样，它也是无因而生的。然后他说荆棘葱就是一种刺很尖的尖锐的，可以刺进去的，刺人的这样。他说这个没有任何人去把它弄成那么尖的，所以不这是自然而产生的。他说这是无因生所以他们有很多很多的观点，但是呢这个是在四生里面最没有智慧的最没有这个理论理由道理的一种说法。所以呢就是无因生的话就他们的观点是这样。那这里驳斥他的是什么呢？就是如果是无因而生的话，那有一个过失就是国法恒时存在，或者是国法恒时无有的过失。什么意思呢？就是如果是无因而生的话，那所有的一切法恒时存在，永远都应该要存在，永远都应该有很多东西，它无因而产生嘛。或者是一切法永远的不存在就是永远存在和不存在的两种过失这个就是无因生的过失。这个的话大部分的人不会以为一切法是无因而生的，但是这个是一种外道的见解。
And then the next arise is the arising without any cause. This is the point of the non-Buddhist school, or the trigger point. This point states that all things arises without any cause. They point out that not in this commentary or treaty, but in other types of sutra, they was documented that they claim that the stones in the ocean, it is round because nobody was grinding it, and then the fire was hot because it just hot was nobody caused that. And then they claim that thorn, some kind of the thorn in the plants, they're sharp because just they are sharp without anybody tampering with it. So this is actually of the four arises, this is the one with the least wisdom, or the least the one that makes the most, like the one that really have the least wisdom and doesn't make sense. So here, in order to dispel that, we say that if things do arise without any cause, then the effect, the things that appear would always remain, or it would never exist. Because if for things to exist without any causes, then all the things should be there forever. There should be never any type of changes. And then, or all the things should never have existed. So here, which is not true. So thereby, this point is proven to be invalid. And this is as most people would not really take upon this view.
我想这样就是我们已经驳斥了四生的这个观念，大家清楚了哈。我们首先是自生，到现在就要顿灭听灭，就是这个时候这里说的是什么呢？就是如果是自己生自己的话，它的过失是什么呢？就是没有意义以及无限的生，顿灭把听灭就是这个就是自生的过失。大家记住哈，这个你们深深的去思考的时候，才会知道他这样驳斥的最主要的理由是什么。这样然后他性生的话，就是一切生一切，黑暗生光明等等这样的过失。那共生的话，就是不用讲了，上面两个都有了。然后无因生的话，就是恒时有或者恒时没有的差别。如果是无因都可以生的话，那就是一切法恒时存在。你不可能有一个完全这个没有因就可以完全所有的法都存在，在虚空中你也可以长那个花草树木什么都可以长，因为你不需用因而可以产生果所以他们的过失是这样。
So now we have gave the teaching on how Madhyamaka school dispelled the four arises. And again, here the first one is self-arise. That if anything self-arise, then things that means then if things do self-arise, then by arising through itself, they will be meaningless and infinite. Such that things will continue to grow and grow. That is like the downfall, the fault. If you able to really contemplate it thoroughly, then we understand the reasoning behind it. And then the arising through others, such as the darkness arising through light, or light arising darkness, that does not work too, as that proof as invalid too, as we just mentioned. And then the things arising together, this does not make sense because, just as we mentioned earlier, that it has the both downfalls of both arising through self and arising through others. And lastly, arising without any cause, that is the downfall is that, or the kind of like to dispel is that, if truly is the case, then all things should appear. They should always be there, or nothing should have existed.
那在这里呢，我们在这样看起来，好像我们一直在往外看，好像中观的论师们在破斥一些外道内道的观点，但是其实这些我们在学习的时候，我们要把它学习成自己修行的时候呢，我们要往内破就破我们自己的执着，而不是去看外道的执着，或者是这个唯识宗经部有部他们的执着或者怎么样，不是这样的。我们要往内看我们自己的执着所以呢，这些来破斥我们的执着所以当我们真正的就是说认知我们的这个执着，比如说是我执人我执我所执法执法我执，这些就是有很多的这样的执着这些就是当这些执着我们认知了，然后去破这些执着之后，那最后得到的果是什么呢？得到的果就是空性。我们就真正的用这个中观的推理方式达到或是证悟了这个空性的这个见解。
So it seems like we are really. It seems like here we are trying to dispel things externally, such as you may think the Madhyamaka masters will continue to dispel different points of the viewpoints, or the school of different, such as the non-Buddhist as well as the Yogacara or Hinayana school's viewpoint. But actually, when we're actually engaged in learning, then really what we need to do is to use these teachings to dispel our own attachment. These teachings should be used to dispel our own attachment, such as the attachment of oneself, of self, attachment of what my or I, as well as attachment of phenomenon. And once you're able to truly dispel these attachments, then we will really come to the point where we recognize the view on the nature of emptiness, the view of emptiness.
所以呢我们在这样以中观的理论来驳斥这些执着，最重要的目的是什么呢？最重要的目的就是我们要达到空性为什么要达到空性呢？ 因为我们要所有的有情众生欲求快乐就是不要痛苦想要快乐，所以我们必须要达到空性。那我们没有证悟空性之前，我们可不可以完全的就是说远离痛苦，然后呢就是永恒的得到快乐呢？是不可能的所以呢我们必须要证悟空性。那证悟空性的话，证悟空性的方法有几种，一种呢就是我们用中观的理论这样来一一的去抉择这些我所执着的这些对境，然后呢最后呢就是证悟空性。还有一些方法呢，就是我们在这个密宗里面的修这个升起次第气脉明点这些的方式来慢慢的证悟空性还有一个方式呢，就是我们在这个修这个大圆满的时候，有上师有直指心性这样的方式来证悟空性，这些都是证悟空性的方法，都可以证悟空性。但是呢，根据每一个众生的根基，有些是比较根基浅薄的，有些是中等根基的，有些是上等根基的，这也是根据累生累世积累的福德资粮有关系所以这样一来呢就在佛经里面给我们了很多的一个选择可以让我们证悟空性的道路。所以在这里的话，就是完全以中观的这个推理的方式可以让我们来证悟空性。这个是比较是说跟密宗里面讲的跟大圆满是比较容易能够证悟空性的。大概是先这样讲好了。容易就是说比较容易理解比较容易理解，因为这个是还是在我们的一种意识或者意识的层面去推理这样的一个方式。因为我们在大圆满里面证悟空性是超越意识的一个东西，所以那个时候是完完全全要自己的强烈的信心和资粮，然后上师的加持去证悟的。这个时候是完全没有用到我们的任何的意识层面的东西。
So here here are the kind of beginning the given teaching on the viewpoint or the school of the Madhyamaka. So the most important thing that we need to do is really to learn all these. The most important purpose is to really arriving at the realization of the nature of emptiness. Because all sentient beings, they wish for happiness and do not want suffering. So by realizing emptiness, then we're able to truly achieve that goal. And so it's really, without realizing emptiness, it would be really impossible for us to be really truly free from suffering and attain the eternal happiness. So thereby, in order to attain the realization of emptiness, there are different methods. Such as the Madhyamaka teaching, in which the method is through reasoning to attain the realization of emptiness. And then there's in the Vajrayana's teaching, there's different methods, such as the practice of generation and completion phase, such as the teaching of the channels, the bindu, the wind, etc. And then there's also the Dzogchen teaching, where the guru gives point out instructions on to realize the nature of emptiness. However, this is also due to because of different faculties of sentient beings, such as the amount of merits accumulated varies among sentient beings, as well as their their faculties. So here, that's the Buddhism. The Buddhist teaching gave various different methods. So here, the Madhyamaka method through reasoning will be something easier to understand because it is still coming from our normal consciousness through our own mind or reasoning. And it'd be considered as easier to understand because, for example, in order to achieve realization of emptiness through Dzogchen teaching, that is something that's beyond our consciousness. It's really through our own genuine devotion, as well as our own merit, and then the blessing of the Guru, and does not really involve any level of consciousness.
但是从证悟的速度上来讲的话，最快的速度是大圆满那就是速度最快的那最慢的呢是什么呢？就是 我们是这个以理论来推理的但是呢比较容易理解的话，就是我们这个是根据我们的意识比较的层面比较接近，所以比较容易理解。所以呢就是作为一个修行人的话，我们首先以中观的推理的方式对这个空性有一定的认知，然后呢再去修大圆满的法的话，这是比较稳固的，然后呢也是比较容易能够证悟大圆满的一个前提。
However, if you're looking at the perspective in which the speed of attaining realization, then the practice of Dzogchen would be the fastest method to attain that, and then the slowest would be through the reasoning here. But in terms of the level of easy of understanding, it will be Madhyamaka, because it is based on our consciousness of reasoning. So thereby, as a practitioner, we need to first use the reasoning of the Madhyamaka. By understanding or learning the reasoning of Madhyamaka, was to develop a level of understanding of emptiness, and then as we engage in the practice of Dzogchen, then that will be a more stable, as well as an easier way, easier path to attain the genuine realization of Dzogchen.
所以呢，我们在这个学习中观的时候、中论的时候，这个的功德是非常非常大的。就算是我们在这个过程当中没有证悟空性，但是呢，对空性产生了信心，或是产生了一种怀疑它的功德都相当大。在这里堪波这里引述了一种中观400论中所说的中观400论，你知道吗？400 verses Madhyamaka。那里面怎么说的呢？任何人若对空性能升起一点怀疑不是证悟空性也不是认知空性，但是一个合理的怀疑，就是说他学习了这个中观之后呢，觉得也许一切法真的是空性就是这样的一个合理的怀疑就这样的一个怀疑。就算一个人产生这样的怀疑的话，都可以断除他轮回的根。你们想一想，这个有多殊胜所以这个是中观400论里面讲的。
So here, as we engage in the learning of the Madhyamaka, the merit of learning the Madhyamaka teaching itself is thoroughly immense. Even though we may not attain realization of emptiness at this point, even if we have developed, as long as we have developed a sense of faith, or even have a doubt, as it pointed out, like a genuine logical doubt, as it pointed out in the teaching in the 400 verses of the Middle Way, it states that anyone who develop a genuine doubt, and the genuine doubt is referring as to have this thought that, maybe all things are truly emptiness in nature. To even have this simple doubt, we're already able to cut off the root of samsara for that person. So you can see how immense this merit truly is, how meritorious it is.
所以呢，我们可以想象，那如果是我们真正的学习闻思中观这个，然后呢，就是能够证悟空性的话，那我们的轮回的根当然就100%断掉了那轮回的根断掉的意义是什么呢？意义就是说，我们再也不需要轮回了。再也不需要轮回的意思是什么呢？你就永远不会再痛苦了，也就是说脱离了轮回。所以我们要知道，在这个轮回里面，我们一直以来不停的流转在这个轮回里面，一直生老病死。除了这个生老病死的痛苦之外，还有多少的痛苦我们就是每一个人，你自己反复的想一下，在你的一生当中，你所经验的、你所看到的这些痛苦，不可思议的痛苦，很多的痛苦。那这些是从哪里来的呢？这些其实就是一个无明而产生的执着无明产生了我执，然后呢，就我执产生了我所执、法执等等，就是执着这个那个所以呢，就是最后就这些一大堆的执着了，给我们带来很多的烦恼、痛苦等等的所以呢，我们就是要证悟空性，证悟空性这些以后呢，这些一切就消失了。 我们就可以脱离轮回了。
So here, if we can truly able to understand or learn and contemplate and really attain the realization of emptiness, then we can really cut off the root of samsara. And by meaning of cutting off samsara, the root of samsara, meaning that we no longer need to reincarnate and dwell into samsara. And that really means that we no longer have to suffer. We need to really understand, really to recall, really have a really a understanding of the continuation of our current state, that we continue to endure the suffering of samsara. That's including in life, birth, aging, illness, and death, as well as all the other types of suffering that we had to endure. If you're able to think thoroughly, reflecting on your life, this is something that really you experience for yourself. And all these suffering really comes from your own ignorance. The sense of it, comes from the ignorance, and then which they are from ignorance arising through the attachment of perceiving self as well as other as phenomena as real. So, and also as well as many other attachments, which really led to us to have more and more suffering. Thereby, this is why we need to attain realization of emptiness, because by attaining such realization, then everything we will no longer need to suffer and will be liberated.
在这里，堪布引述了释迦牟尼佛，所讲的。这里说，释迦牟尼佛在转完第二次法轮后，把所有的法交给了阿难尊者，并说道：84000法门，除了般若波罗蜜多以外，已将其他所有的法精通后全部忘记，我都不认为是很大的过失。但是如果你忘记了般若波罗蜜多里的一个偈子，都是很大的过失。佛陀告诫阿难尊者，所以我们可以想象一下，般若波罗蜜多，也就是空性的，就是中观的这些，这个教法是多么殊胜的，意思就是说，般若波罗蜜多里面的一个偈颂，也超过了其他的84000种法门，其他的所有的教法。这是不是任何人说的？这是佛亲口说的，教导阿难尊者的。所以我们可以想象一下，我们闻思修这个空性般若波罗蜜多法的功德是有多大的。
So here, Kempo gave an account that when Buddha Shakyamuni, after turning of the second Dharma wheel, he gave all the teaching to Ananda and said, in terms of the 84,000 teachings, except the teaching of Paramita, if you forgot everything else, I don't think it's such downfall. I don't think it's a serious downfall. But however, if you do forget the teaching of the Paramita, even just one verse, then that's really a serious downfall. So thereby, this is really to illustrate that even if one verse of teaching of Paramita is far more important than other teachings that the Buddha taught, and this is really something said by the Buddha himself. So thereby, we can really truly understand how important it is, or how much merit you had able to accumulate through learning, contemplating, and practicing the teaching of Paramitas.
所以呢，我们能够有机会闻思或者讲这个般若波罗蜜多的法，它的功德是很大的，这是一个很大的福报。佛陀在这里讲的里面，我们就可以完完全全看得到、听得出来，原来它的功德是有多大的。在有一个那个经典我名字忘记了曾经讲到一件经典里面讲到说，我们用这个3000大千世界作为一个供灯的灯盏，然后呢，用这个须弥山来做这个灯芯，然后呢，用这个4大洋来作为这个这个油来做一盏灯来供养十方菩萨，十方的诸佛，不如我们讲4句的般若波罗蜜多给别人听的功德大。所以等于就说，你就是用4句般若波罗蜜多的这个讲这样4句法的功德比那个还要大。 还有很多很多这样的比喻就是我们所说的讲法的功德，然后文法的功德，然后司法的功德这些功德是远远超越我们所想象的那样的。所以呢，我们在这里每次我们听闻1节课的功德也是非常非常大的。只要就是我们认知到了这个功德，以恭敬心、以虔诚心去听的时候，我们听懂、认知那功德当然大。就算是没有听懂，只要是有恭敬心的从开始有这个发心，听的时候有清净心，完了以后有回向，这样去做的话，这是相当大的功德，这是我们一般的有漏法是没有办法比的这样的功德。
So here, for us to really have this opportunity, to able to learn, contemplate, and even to give teaching on the teaching of Paramita itself, we just really have truly immense amount of merit. In one of the sutra, it said that by using the area of the 3,000 worlds to use as kind of like the lamp holder, and by using the Mount Meru as the candle itself, and using the amount of ocean, the 4 ocean as the oil as offering to use an offering, the merit itself is really not as comparable as by giving teaching on the 4 verses of Paramitas. So here, this is really for us to here at the center to able to learn, contemplate, and practice the teaching emptiness is something that's truly immense in terms of merit. And so that as long as you have this understanding that this really brings immense merit, and you're able to listen to the teaching with devotion and respect, and as well as with a genuine aspiration and a pure, undistracted mind while listening, and then the dedication merit, then what you have done here is really truly an immense amount of merit that you accumulated, and it's really far exceeds other types of impure methods.
所以呢，我们在听闻这个般若波罗蜜多法的时候，也是要有清净心，有这个信心欢喜心来听法的话，听法的功德是不可思议的。我们以前在这个普贤上师言教里面不是有一个公案吗？就是为了听般若波罗蜜多法，一个菩萨中文叫什么？突然想不起来，就是在现在的成都新都那边就是为了听般若波罗蜜多法，然后呢是把自己的血脉里面的血抽出来洒在地上，为了这个压这些灰尘。然后因为那个的加持，现在那个整片地现在都是黄色的所以等等的以前的大德们的话，为了听闻般若波罗蜜多法做了很多很多的这个苦行的所以呢，这些都是不是白白的做这样的苦行，他们都认知到这个功德是不可思议的所以来做这样。
So here, while we're here listening to the teaching of the Paramitas, as long as we have a pure mind, the devotion as well as joy, then the merit of listening to Dharma teaching, this Dharma teaching is truly inconceivable. There's also an account in the teaching on the words of my perfect teacher. There was a bodhisattva, I forgot his name, that for him, he at one instance at the current area of Chengdu, that for the purpose of listening to such teaching, the teaching of Paramita, he had used his own blood to dust off the ground to which the teaching was given. And because of that blessing, that part of the area now in Chengdu, somewhere in Chengdu area, that area still remains as red. So really, the great masters before us have really endured really intense hardships, but not for the purpose of listening to Dharma teaching. They endured it really because how they understand how immense the merit it is to listen to Dharma teaching. They will not just endure hardship for no reasons.
然后呢，在这里那个堪布的这个中观的讲义，这个呢是非常的仔细，所以有些地方可能大家新的道友们没有学过中观的话，可能会觉得比较难。但是呢，不管怎么样，你们如果是 这个强烈的信心，然后呢又很精进的去慢慢的读的话，这个其实不会那么难。康博已经讲得非常的清楚所以呢大家就可以慢慢的读。然后我们这边的课程也不是每天都有，所以有很多的时间可以在家里复习，大家就自己读。如果读不懂看不懂没有关系就是具有信心的去学习的话，这个就是一个功德就算没有懂，你看一遍也就是一个功德这个你是没有浪费时间的，你都是在积累功德积累福报这样
So here, this commentary by Kempo, this is also a very detailed commentary. So maybe the new Dharma friends here, it may be a little hard to really understand. However, just here, even you have as long as you have a strong devotion and to read this teaching diligently, then it would not be so hard. And also our class here session is not every day, so you always have time to review these teachings at home. Even if you really don't understand in the end, but as long as you continue to read it with devotion and then with diligence, then you are continuing to accumulate merits. You have not really wasted any time at all.
同时我们在这里上午在讲这个入行论，在入行论里面有讲到了很多我们积累这个福报的方法，所以呢我们同时在学习中观空性的时候，我们也同时就是积累资粮积累福报祈祷上师然后就修上师相应法这些全部这样聚集的话，总有一天你一定会证悟空性的这是我们所说的就是一切因缘具足的时候，它的果是我们挡都挡不住的，会产生的一样的道理。所以当你的福德资粮信心然后呢就是这些全部都具足的时候，它的这个果证悟空性是一定会的所以呢大家都是平时要就是精进的，不要说一两天或者一两个月很精进然后就扔掉，这样不行。我们学佛修行是要长时间的，不要一次性就是把自己憋到说下次再也不想修了，这样不行，就是把时间分配好，然后就每天不间断的去闻思修行这样的话呢我们就是证悟空性是一定会证悟空性的证悟到的。所以这个证悟空性也不是就是白白的什么都不做就可以证悟空性的，不是的。我们第一要闻思积累资粮祈祷上师这样一起共同来的话呢，我们就会真正的有一天会证悟空性证悟了空性的话，那这个就是一个无价之宝在这个世界上没有比证悟空性或是在你的相续当中升起菩提心这样没有比这个珍贵的东西。那证悟大圆满这些那就更不用说了我们就说证悟空性，如果相续当中能够升起菩提心，或是在你的相续当中能够升起一个坚定不移的信心，这些都是无价之宝，这是在世间上的任何的财物任何的珍宝都没有办法衡量的东西所以呢我们就是要从这一方面要努力要去奋斗
And also, at the same time, we are engaging the teaching on the Bodhisattva way of life in the morning class session, and we have talked about many different types of methods to accumulate merits. So here, while we are learning the teaching of Madhyamaka, we are also continue to engage in the practice of accumulating merit, as well as practicing pray to our Guru, practicing Guru Yoga. And then finally, one day you will able to achieve the realization of emptiness, such that all the conditions necessary are already met. If once the conditions are met, then the results will definitely manifest without any hindrance. So therefore, as long as you accumulate merits and then your devotion are there, have met the necessary level, then you will be able to achieve the realization of emptiness. So this, as a Dharma practitioner, you really have to be always consistently diligent. You cannot practice diligently for a month or two and then just completely stop, saying, "Oh, I will never do this again." As a Dharma practitioner, you must really practice consistently, and then very thoroughly and consistently every day. And then by doing so, you will be able to achieve the realization of emptiness. The realization of emptiness does not come out of anywhere. It is really through your own devotion, your merit, as well as the blessings. So by continuing to accumulate these things, you will be able to truly able to attain realization one day. And then once you have retained or achieved the realization of emptiness, that is something that cannot be measured with any type of wealth in this world. This is something that's incomparable. This is really kind of probably the most precious that you can achieve or you can acquire. This is not to say the realization of Dzogchen. So this is something that we really need to continue to strive hard and work for in our path of practice.
所以呢，在这里我们要破除这些执着的时候呢，我们这里首先很重要的一个就要讲的就是我们首先要知道我们要破除的执着是什么，我们要认知。比如说我们要这个就是说要打靶子，比如说我们要用枪去耍靶子，我们首先要知道我们要瞄准什么地方，要打什么像我们然后再是用射箭也好，用枪打也好，我们才知道要射到哪里。所以一样的道理，我们在这里破除的时候呢，我们首先要知道我们要破除的是什么，这个对境是什么。所以呢，在这里堪布讲了这个破除的对境，我觉得这个非常的重要。我们在这里简单的讲一下。在这里首先呢，就说中观以各种各样的理由来破除执着。那所破的执着呢，归纳为二。他说有两种，一个是什么呢？一个是法我执，一个是人我执。这里讲的，所以呢，我们这个要破除的对境，我们要认知这一个。
So here, we need to really understand here in terms of the Madhyamaka teaching, we need to understand what is it that we are trying to dispel, what is it that we're trying to nullify, or this is something that's very important for us to understand what is it that we are trying to dispel. For example, when we're doing target shooting, we need to understand what the target is, or where the target is, and then whether you're using arrow or guns, then we can hit the target. So first, we need to understand what is it that we need to dispel. So here, Kempo have given a really good summary that in terms of Madhyamaka teaching, though, we are trying to dispel attachments, and the attachment comes from the two major things: the attachment of self and the attachment of phenomenon.
然后其中人我执及我执和我所执。所以呢，他说其中的一个就是人我执是什么呢？人我执就是包括了人我和我所执。那人我是什么呢？就是以自相续的五蕴。五蕴是什么呢？色受想行识的所缘境就是把这个五蕴执着为我，这个叫做什么呢？这个叫做人我执。所以我们这个对境，这个很重要，这个我们一定要认知到什么叫做别人问你什么叫做人我执你就要知道人我执是我们的相续当中的五蕴以对境，然后把这个五蕴加起来，这个东西执着为我这就人我执这里。
So here the attachment of self or attachment of I. And this refers to attachment of I and attachment of mind. So attachment of I consists of 5 aggregates that we perceive these 5 aggregates as referring as I or by ourselves. So this is the attachment of I. And this is something that's very important to understand, because when people ask you, what is the attachment of self or attachment of I? This is referring to the attachment by perceiving these 5 aggregates in our mind stream, by the attachment that we perceive these aggregates as ourselves or I.
然后呢，就是我所执。我所执是什么呢？对相续中的一切法，就是比如说我们说我的眼睛、我的耳朵、 以及自相续以外的一切法，比如说我的房子、我的瓶子、我的柱子、我的车子等等等等，我的这些执着，全部都是我所执。
And then the attachment of mind, such as that anything that's outside of our mind stream, such as my eyes, my ears, or my house, my cars, these are the attachment that we perceive as attachment of mind, of what is mine.
然后第二个是什么呢？就是法我执。法我执是什么呢？就是除了刚才这些我执和我所执以外，对其他所有的有为法和无为法的执着，这样清楚了哈。我们刚刚执着的就是我的我蕴，把它执着为这是我。然后呢，把我的眼睛说是我的眼睛、我的耳朵，或是我的房子、我的东西、我的车子等等，就是我所执。那这样，那法我执是什么呢？就是除了这些之外的所有的有为法、无为法，都是法我执。
So here, and then the next one is the attachment of referred as the other phenomenons, attachment of phenomenons. This referring to any type of attachments other than the attachment of I or self or and mind. So previously, we just said that the attachment of self refers to attachment of I, what I perceive as I, and as well as attachment of mind, such as my eyes, my ears, my house, and my car. So these are the attachment of self. And then the attachment of phenomenon pertains to any other things, any things other than what we just said, the attachment of I and mind, whether these are considered as something you can perceive, something you cannot perceive. So these are the phenomena, which these phenomena are referred as the attachment of phenomena.
那在这些的认知上，还有很多的说法，但是在这个里面全部包括了，我们就不用再讲别的了。这个也比较容易懂。说我只是什么，我所知什么法我只是什么，我们这样讲就会比较清楚。其他我们就不再讲了。
And so here, there's more detail regarding these attachments, but here, it has been given to a more like an easier perspective to understand, and it's more clear to understand too. So we won't go further detail.
所以呢，在这里我们讲了诸法不自生的这几个句子偈颂，这一个颂词里面，因为这个是龙树菩萨造论以后呢，因为这几个句子。那后来的这些中观的论师们呢，就是出现了不一样的就是解读，也就是说不一样的就是说法所以呢，在这个印度就是出现了中观的应称派中观的秩序派就是从此以后就是成为了就是秩序派和应称派的两个派系，就是主要是为了解读或是解释这个偈颂而出现的两个派别。
So here, the verses that the teaching that things don't arise itself, nor from something that or other else, because these teachings was composed by Nagarjuna, and then later on, the later masters have then thus based on these teachings have developed different points or different explanations. So and then finally they began to form into two schools: the schools of Prasangika and then the school of Samantika.
然后呢，在这里呢，后来在这个龙树菩萨之后呢，圣天菩萨造了中观400论。那中观400论跟中观根本慧论就是属于是中观的母中观， 我们所说的，因为在这个之前就是没有其他的，后来的中观全部都是因为这2个论而造了很多很多的论，所以这2部论点呢，就是被称为是母中观。
And then afterward, later on, there was another Bodhisattva. I don't remember the name, but maybe Deva, Bodhisattva Deva. He composed the 400.
Ayadeva.
Yeah, the Aryadeva Bodhisattva. He has composed the 400 verses of Madhyamaka. So the 400 verses Madhyamaka and then the root stanza of the middle way. These two, they are considered as the mother teaching of all the Madhyamaka, because all the other Madhyamaka teachings comes from these two teachings. So these two serve as the kind of like the mother of all Madhyamaka teachings.
所以呢，这2部中观根本慧论跟中观四白论都不属于是印证派，也不属于是自序派，他们是母中观。
So these two teachings does not belong to Prasangika school nor Svantrika school. They are the original kind of like the mother of Madhyamaka teachings.
是2派的来源。
The source in which they are the source of these two schools of thoughts.
然后后来呢，就是形成中观印证派的，就是代表人物，或者是说首先的人物是谁呢？就是佛护论师。佛护论师是你知道哈，佛护论师，佛护论师，然后后来呢，就是月称论师以及吉天论师等，他们这3位等还有其他的论师，这些呢就是属于是印证派的论师。但是呢，佛护论师呢没有讲的像月称论师那么的详细对印证派的观点，但是呢，他也是为印证派的，就是这个代表人物，就是这些。
这是印证派。对，
印证派的。
还有
月称论师、吉天论师、吉天菩萨。
And then the notably master of the Prasangika school is one of them is by the Buddha Leila. He is one of the masters, as well as 2 others. I don't remember the English name, but it's Yue Chen and Sentian Busan. So these 3 are the main notable masters of the Prasangika school.
然后后来呢，就是自序派的代表人物是轻辩论师、净命论师、智藏论师他们是代表是这个自序派的，就是中观的论师。
Okay, and then the next school is the Svantika school, and they're also the 3位论师是谁？是3位的自序派的。
自序派的是叫藏文的话叫桑杰讲，对，然后寂命论师，极尽的尽净命论师，智藏论师，这个我就英文都不知道怎么说了。
So the school of Svantrika also has 3 noble master. The first one, the Tibetan is Sangye master, and as well as 2 others. I don't have their names, but these are the 3 masters of Svantika school.
那这里我们所说的形成印证派跟自序派的主要的差别是什么？这个我们要知道。
So here we need to understand the difference between these 2 schools, the school of Prasangika and then the school of Svantrika.
因为在这里我们所说的用4声来那个破持4声的时候，印证派的话就是直接破持，它没有分说是现象的时候有，或者是说就是只破实有不破现象，或是只破现象没有这样分，它直接破持，一切就是没有生这样。但是呢，自序派的就是认为说可以破这个实有，但是不能破现象。如果破了现象的话，那我们就是在明眼中的这些现象都没有办法成立，所以呢，他们不敢破这个现象，所以这个就是主要的他们的差别。
它可以破实有，就是空性。
对。
dispel. So here the difference is that in order to dispel the four arises, the school Prasangika dispel these four arises directly. It does not distinguish what is referred as a phenomenon or the kind of like the innate nature of the thing or attachment of what existing. However, the Svantaka school says that if it is able to dispel kind of like the attachment of what inherently existing, but it does not dispel the phenomenons. So this is because they're afraid that it might lead to nihilism. So this is the difference here.
所以他们就说是在圣义地就是这些都不成立，在圣义地的这个见解里面呢，柱子也不成立，宝瓶也不成立，就是说秩序派。但是呢，这些在世俗地或是名言当中，这些是成立的他们是这样讲。但是中观应称派的话，他完全没有分世俗或圣义两个地，完全不分，因为他们抉择的就是菩萨的这个实地菩萨的根本智慧，或者是的这个大空性的部分，或者是佛的智慧的这个空性，他们直接抉择的是最究竟的这个空性。他说在这里没有分开说世俗的空性、世俗地或圣义地，没有这样分开。
So in terms of the Svantaka school, it states that in terms of the absolute truth, nothing exists. However, if it comes on the relative truth, things do exist. And yet the Prasangika school really comes, the way that dispels these attachments really comes from through the perspective or the standpoint of the wisdom of the Buddhas and Bodhisattva. And so yet they really just focus on the wisdom of the absolute truth. And it does the wisdom of the Buddhas and Bodhisattva. It does not like really try to distinguish what is referred as absolute and what is referred as relative truth.
所以呢，在破除这些实有的这些有法的时候方面，在这个西藏的各个教派有很多很多的辩论的，有些说我们破除，比如说柱子，就是柱子的话，去破除这个柱子的时候，有些教派呢就说，我们只破你对柱子实有的那个念头，但是不去破这个名言。或者不去破这个现象，有些说是就是现象跟这个名言当中全部一起破，等等等等，有很多很多的这个辩论的，这样清楚啊。
So here, to dispel, and there's also a different reasoning throughout the different schools of Tibetan Buddhism. For example, the pillar. Some schools, the dispel is trying to reason is that to really try to dispel the thought of perceiving the pillar as real, but not to really try to dispel what has been manifest as the pillar, or manifest the phenomenon. So there's really different kinds of reasoning coming from these schools.
比如说。我们举一个例子，柱子它可以代表一切法它就是来代表一切法。如果我们能够把柱子破了，那一切法你都可以破不需用就是每一个都一个一个的去破柱子或是宝瓶等等，就是你用一个法来作为对境去破它去破它的时候，就是说那中观应称派的说法就是说，不管是柱子的这个名言或者现象也好，或者它实有的东西也好，不管他就说柱子就是不存在，就是没有从来没有产生过，就是不存在，直接这样说。然后自序派来就说，柱子在名言或者世俗地里面存在，但是在圣义地里面不存在就是这样分开来破。
For example, if we use the pillar, the pillar itself can represent all phenomena. If you can dispel this one phenomenon, you can dispel everything. You don't have to go and dispel every individual things. So by looking at the example of the pillar, the school Prasangika states that it doesn't matter whether it's the relative truth of the pillar or not. It never truly existed. That's what it is. Then, however, the Svantaka school states that the pillar, it does not exist in the absolute truth, but however, in the relative truth, it does exist. So this is kind of the difference between these two schools.
所以在这里就是这个中观印证派的话，就是他没有分开这个世俗和圣意直接破斥的，然后呢就是自序派就是分开的，但是最终的是什么呢？最终的就是我们要破除对这些的执着。执着什么呢？执着是实有。其实这里面有很多很多东西了，很多很多东西比如说我们看一个柱子哈，在看到一个柱子的时候呢，我们的眼识看到外面有一个柱子，然后看到这个柱子的时候呢，你会产生一个这有一个柱子有的这个念头。然后当有的这个念头产生的时候呢，在第二刹那、第三刹那，今天看到明天看到，你会产生一个这个柱子是永恒的一个念头所以呢就是你以为这个柱子就是存在的，这样使用。有些就说是主要破的就是你以为柱子存在的那个执着，而不是外面真正的可以碰触的那个执着等等的这样的。但是呢像格鲁派的他们在破斥这个柱子的时候呢，就是说破这个柱子是永恒的这个念头，而不是破柱子的那个名相，柱子的那个名相。那在驳斥在这个辩论的过程当中呢，那其他的宗派就说，那如果是一般的人的话，他根本没有一个说这个柱子是永恒的这个念头，不会有这个念头，那一般的人根本不需要破斥等等等等。这里有很多这样的辩论，但是最重要就是说我们就是直接就是破这个不管是中观印证派的话，不管是名言也好，在圣义地也好，就是不存在就是直接破它那是那个自序派的话，就是分个名言跟那个圣义跟世俗的这样两极来破。
So here again, the ultimate Prasangka school does not distinguish what is perceived as absolute or relative. It dispels the phenomenon of detachment directly, whereas Svantaka school distinguish what's relative and what is absolute. But ultimately, it's really to dispel the attachment to perceive something as real. For example, when we see a pillar, our eyes see this pillar, then right when our eyes see this pillar, we have this thought that there's the pillar there. And then after a couple of days, we'll begin to think that these pillars does exist. But here, our point, the goal is to really dispel the thought that you're perceiving that there is actually exists a pillar. And then in the Gelug school of Gelug, is to really dispel the thought that something is there. But other school states that the ordinary people would not really perceive these pillars as real, so but there's no point for them to dispel what the pillar is. So there's really different type of reasonings. So however, the ultimate goal or the ultimate understanding is here that the Prasangka school, the school Prasangka, it really tried to dispel the attachment directly. It does not distinguish absolute or relative. And then the Svantaka school, there's to distinguish of two perspective, the relative and absolute truth.
这些在堪布的这些讲记里面有很详细的资料，大家可以慢慢的读。
And there's actually very detailed information on the commentary by the Kempo, so it's right here.
然后接下来是什么呢？接下来就是我们说别破他生，一说别破他生分二，一是宣说他宗，二是以理所破。然后就是宣说他宗，在这里呢，就是别破的意思，就是说什么呢？我们现在之上是总体上做了一个破斥这些四生的这个部分，现在呢就是分别的来进行破斥这些。那分别的进行破斥的时候呢，我们首先要知道我们我们所说的所破，意思就是说我们要破的那个对境是什么？我们首先要认知它，我们要破的是什么？所以我们要认知它的话，我们必须要了解对方的观念，对方的见解或者对方的观念是什么所以呢，我们首先认知到了对方的观念是什么，他的见解是什么，然后呢，我们才再用我们自己的这个理论去推翻 或者去破斥对方的观点。如果我们没有了解对方的观点的话，我们没有办法用任何理由来破斥他们。所以这里就是首先说他宗，所以就是虽然说他宗的话，就是这个中观的要破斥对方他们的这个宗派的见解，这样。
And now we'll become to that. And previously, we have the dispelling of the four rises through the dispelling four rises in the overall sense. And now we'll be going to individually to dispel each individual arises. So here is the dispelling of the arising through others. So here is divided into two categories. First, we need to understand understanding the viewpoint of what is it that we're trying to dispel, the school of thought that we are trying to dispel, and then we're going to use reasoning to dispel it. So the why we need to do this, because we need to really, in order to dispel kind of like the other school of thought, we need to really understand what that other school of thought is. And then once we understand that, then we can use our reasoning to dispel that. So this is something we need to first do.
那这里是怎么说呢？因缘次第缘，缘缘增上缘，四缘生诸法，更无第五缘这里就开始讲了，就是他宗了。那这里讲的他宗，为什么要讲他宗呢？我们记得就是在之前我们在破自生和他生的时候，在破他生的时候呢，就是唯识宗跟经部和有部他们就说，他生是不能破的，因为这个他生是由因缘而生的，由因缘而生的。因为释迦牟尼佛曾经讲过六因四缘所以呢这个是不能破的所以他们是以这个为由，上面我们已经讲过了。所以呢，那这里就是首先中观论师们呢，就是把他宗他们所谓的这个六因四缘是哪一些就是我们首先认知这个提出来的一些，就是因缘次第缘、缘缘增上缘这几个。
So here, this is what is it try to dispel. It says that there are four conditions: the casual and the object, the immediate preceding, and then the dominant. And there's no fifth condition. So these are these conditions are the school of thoughts that we are trying to dispel. So why do we need to talk about these kind of viewpoints from other school of thoughts? Just as the school Yogacara said that arising through other is valid because it is through dependent origination. So thus they cannot be dispelled. It's because it arises through the dependent origination of the six causes and four conditions. So this is the first viewpoint, and now we're going to try to dispel or refer of these viewpoints.
那在这里所说的因缘是什么呢？首先，这因缘里面包括了这个五种因是什么呢？首先这里说是第一是能作因，这个可以翻译吗？英文的。第一个能作因，他就说因有六种因，六种因里面的第一种因是什么呢？就是能作因，这是因果的因产生叫做能作因。那什么叫做能作因呢？就什么叫做能作因呢？他就说对某一种法产生的时候，不起任何的障碍的一切法，而且会帮助它产生这些法，叫做能作因。就说比如说我们这个稻种生这个稻芽的时候，那稻种生稻芽的时候，就是除了自己的这个稻种之外的所有其他的不障碍它生稻种的这些东西，全部都是能作因，就是它是从其他的这些法没有障碍它的角度说它是因，叫做能作因。
So in terms of here, we're going to talk about the first condition. So previously we have mentioned the four conditions. on that phrase of teaching: the casual, the object, the immediately preceding, and then the dominant. And there's no fifth condition. So here we're going to talk about the first condition, which is the casual, and such that this is the viewpoint of the other school, that they believe that this condition has 6 causes. So we're going to talk about this first cause. The first cause is that when something arises, all the other causes that does not present as a hindrance to that cause are considered as this first one. So to give an example, so for example, when the seed grows crop, all the other causes that does not hinder or prevent the seed from growing, they're considered as the first type of cause in this condition of casual.
第二种因是什么呢？就是具有因，具就是具生的具哈，具有因。那具有因是什么呢？具有因就是同时产生的法互为因果，互相起帮助的作用。那这样的法是什么呢？这样的法就是，比如说一个瓶子，要组成一个瓶子的话，它是有很多种围成组成的嘛，组成一个瓶子。那这些围成通常我们说是有8层就是8种围成哈。8层是什么呢？就是地、水、火、风、色、香、味、触，这个8层就是任何的物质，就是我们所说的，都是由这些围成组成的。那在这些里面呢，就是8层中的4大，也就是说地水火风，它是同时彼此具有因的，就是它们是同时产生的，它们是彼此会有互相帮助的作用，同时产生的这一类的东西叫做具有因。这样，我不清楚，我再说啊。
那个8个是什么？地水火风，还有
色香味触，味是味道的触，触是碰触的触。
色香 smell see So here, the next one is the cause in which the second cause is we're referring as something that's a composition, the cause of composition. So to illustrate that, for example, a glass bottle, this is composed by different elements, such as the elements of earth, water, fire, and wind, as well as there's perception of seeing, smelling, tasting, and touching. So these are the these are the elements that compose the the glass bottle. So, and referring to the 4 major elements, which is earth, water, fire, and wind. These ones, when they are congregating together, they are inseparable, such that they are interacting with each other. They are the cause and effect of each other. So this is what we're referring as the composition. They are the composition of this glass bottle.
然后第3个因是什么呢？叫做同类因。同类因的话比较简单，就是比如说如稻种生稻芽，青稞生青稞芽，因果2者是同类的这叫做同类因，这个简单。
So, and then also the cause of the similar types, such as when the crops grows from the seed of crop, and as well as the barley that grows from the seed of the barley. So, because they are the similar types, so thus they are considered as similar causes.
第4个因是什么呢？就是相应因。相应因呢，就是相应及平等的意思。那相应是什么呢？我们所说的心王以及心所的关系叫做相应因，心王跟心所的关系。
心王跟心所。
心王跟心所就是说，我们的心意识或后续产生的这些心事叫做心所。心王就是第一个 我们的心所让其他的心是产生的这个主要的这个心叫做心王，对念的
And then the next cause is the cause of resonating, such that the resonating meaning that these causes, they are equal. So in terms of our consciousness, just like the relationship between the first thought that we ever have in our consciousness, which leads to the few latter thoughts. So that's why they're resonating. They are related, and then they are equal. So that's the kind of the relationship, the cause of that.
心胸，心王这里说是 principal mind and one or more of the mental event present。心，他说是心王或是主心这样。
Okay, so yeah, it was referred as the principal mind. So it's the mind in which, and then the latter, as different thoughts arise, then they are kind of like arising from that principal mind. So that's kind of like the relationship.
通常呢，我们所说的心所呢，它有51种，是 the 51 mental following the explanation in the following the listening， 在这里你看一下。就是心所跟心王的差别，英文是看到吗？中间的一个字，对。
51, okay.
对，那个就是心所。
Yeah, so these are basically there's the principal. The relationship is that there's the principal mind, and then there's the kind of like mental events that are occurring. Such as here mentions, there is 51 types of mental events. So again, this is the kind of like the cause in which they are resonating, which is such that the mental event and the principal minds are resonating. This is the kind of like the relationship, and thus they're both considered as equal in this cause.
Very good. 然后接下来的就是第5个音是什么呢？变形音。那变形音是同类音的一种分支音，也就是说3界的烦恼，包括以贪心所生的烦恼，以嗔恨心所生的烦恼，这些全部都是属于是变形音，前面的变形烦恼升起后面的变形烦恼，故称为就是变形音这样。
And then the next one is the cause, kind of pervading cause. This is a type of which the cause of similarity that we mentioned earlier. So this is referring to such as the mental affliction of the 3 realms, including the mental affliction caused by desire, caused by anger, etc. Such that the initial mental affliction caused by anger or desire leads to subsequent more type of mental affliction that is continue to pervade.
然后下一个是异手因，异手因就是先造业后受果，就是因果的这样，则先世的业成熟，后世的果报，这叫做异手因，一共呢就是6种因。
And then the next one, the 6th one, is the cause of manifesting of karma. So this is pertaining to how in the previous life you may have done certain cause or certain action, and then the result will be endured and will manifest in the latter life, such as the results you have to endure.
这以上呢，我们就是说讲了6因4缘里面的6因讲完了，所以今天就讲到这里。
So this is what we refer as the 6 causes of the 4 conditions, and then we'll stop here today. And yeah.